Let's rank every live-action Disney Star Wars thing from worst to best.
I got a really good feeling about this.
General spoiler alert for all things Star Wars, and don't get mad at me, these are just opinions. Disney has released 5 movies and 6 live-action series since they purchased Star Wars in 2012. They've also announced at least 10 other movies that haven't happened, but that's for another video. Okay, let's rank everything except The Acolyte because it's not fully released yet. Number 10 is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker.
They fly now!
I could go on and on about how terrible this movie is. I've watched it 3 or 4 times, hoping that something would improve, but it just gets worse.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Certainly the biggest talked about sin is bringing back Palpatine, but to me, the worst part is how the events of Episode 8 are basically ignored. You don't have to like The Last Jedi, but at least it expands on the events of The Force Awakens. It doesn't just throw them in the trash like Rise of Skywalker does. And don't get me started on the Wayfinder or the fleet of zombie Star Destroyers or the crashed Death Star in the ocean. It's just a mess.
I'm the spy.
What? You?
Number 9 is Ahsoka. I am not the target audience of this show. I've seen a bit of Clone Wars, a bit of Rebels. I'm only aware of the characters on a surface level, but that does not excuse the terrible pacing of this show.
This is a scan Hu Yang took of the temple where we found it. So,
Get over there!
Number 8, The Book of Boba Fett. This show has its moments, but it also has its Power Rangers motorcycle chase. Tamora Morrison does a good job as Boba, but overall the show just really feels cheap. It's like a Star Wars show on the CW or something. Number 7 is Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll be honest, I totally forgot about this show, which is why it's just in voiceover and you don't see my face. And it's easily my number 1 biggest disappointment out of everything Star Wars that Disney has made. I was so excited for the return of Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but this show was underwhelming at best. The moment I realized that it would be another show about a man rescuing a child, another show about a man rescuing a child.
Wait!
Let go of me!
Wait!
They lost me. Young Leia is poorly written.
This is my friend, my father. This is my father, Orden. We're farmers from Tal.
The villains are a mess. The chase sequences are amateur. The Force is too powerful. The "is Luke gonna die" cliffhanger is laughable. It just wasn't good. I still love Ewan though, and Hayden. Welcome back, Hayden. Number 6 on my list is Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. This movie is divisive, to say the least, and I can appreciate and understand most of the criticism. But you can't deny that it has some incredible, memorable set pieces, from the opening space battle to the Red Throne Room fight to the Lightspeed kamikaze to the standoff on Crate. Rian Johnson did a lot of interesting things in this movie, and I have to give him some credit. Number 5 is The Mandalorian. Mando and Grogu were an instant cultural sensation, and while this show falters in its 3rd season, and perhaps even earlier than that, it's generally inventive and creative. And its first episode is one of the best Star Wars things Disney has made.
I have spoken.
Number 4, Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I have a love-hate relationship with this movie.
That's not how the Force works.
Initially, it was fun and entertaining and promised so much for the future of the franchise.
Wow, this thing really moves!
Watching it now with more context, it just makes me sad about the wasted potential.
Where'd you get that?
A good question. For another time.
Yes, it's basically a remake of A New Hope, but it's thrilling and fun and a wonderful nostalgia trip.
I like this thing.
Number 3 is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. From its first pitch, the idea of this movie excited me, taking just a few lines from A New Hope and expanding them into an entire backstory. And it goes without saying that Rogue One was able to walk that fine line of classic Star Wars and new Star Wars. It features some amazing performances, some stunning action, and a rare, sad ending that propels it above the competition. Despite its often reported behind-the-scenes flaws, Gareth Edwards and Tony Gilroy managed to make something very special in the end. Number 2 is Solo, A Star Wars Story. This movie gets a bad rap, and while I understand it, I think certain biases get in the way. Was a spin-off Han Solo movie not starring Harrison Ford a good idea? No. Was releasing it just 5 months after The Last Jedi a good idea? No. Was having an Imperial Guard give Han his last name of Solo because he was all alone in the world a good idea? No. Is this movie a ton of fun with some awesome set pieces and memorable characters? Yes. From the opening escape from the hilarious Lady Proxima to the epic Kessel Run to Donald Glover's stellar Lando performance, Solo is the Disney Star Wars movie that I revisit the most. Star Wars should be fun, and despite its many flaws, Solo is a lot of fun. And a special shout out to John Powell's score, which is truly one of the biggest stars of the movie, one of the best scores of late, and it may even surpass John Williams' scores from the sequels. Check it out online if you haven't already. Number 1 is Andor. This show is in a league of its own, and its second season is the only Star Wars thing that I am truly looking forward to. Tony Gilroy shows how much good writing matters and how nostalgia can only take you so far, how important casting is, and how you don't need recognizable faces to make compelling characters. He doesn't care about Star Wars, he just wants to make a good show. And that mindset has, ironically, made the best Star Wars.
There is one way out.
Do you agree or disagree with my list? Am I crazy? What are you looking forward to next in Disney Star Wars? Thanks for watching.